First of all, I'd like to say something to Pat here. Did you know that I wanted to be a pitcher also? And I was on the first team of the Tucson Little League here in Tucson. And I remember the coach telling me, Bob, why don't you go pitch? He said, you pitch a lot of strikes. And you may pitch the next game. I says, okay. So I go and I pitch. First batter hits like 3 home runs off of me. So, you know, I kept pitching, and these guys were hitting the ball all over the place, almost hit me. So anyhow, I told the coach, hey, I can't be doing this. He says, I don't think I'm going to be a pitcher at this. I want to play the infield, shortstop or second, so he put me on second. So anyhow, I played Little League for 1 year. We played in the championship, Southern Arizona Bank against the Valley Bank, and we lost 2-1. My double was the one that scored the run. So the one thing that I learned that my dad showed us was how to bat. So me and my brother became real good batters. Anyhow, that was more or less close to the end of my baseball career. When I got into junior high, I went out and tried out for the baseball team, and I made the baseball team. But after 3 or 4 games, the coach wouldn't play me. And some of the players that played with me in Little League would go up to the coach and say, how come you don't play Bobby? Oh, don't tell me how to run this team. The coach would say, I'm playing my seniors. So anyhow, what I did was, at the end of the 4th game, I went and got my uniform, folded up, and went up to the coach and I said, here, coach, I'm quitting. And he said, what do you mean you're quitting, Hoss? We really need you on this team and all this, you know? No, I said, you keep playing your favorites. You're not playing your good players, I says, like myself, I says. I says, I cannot hit all your seniors. And he says, what are you going to do? He says, I'm not going to recommend you for the baseball team at Tucson High. I wanted to get into a baseball team. That was my dream, baseball. So anyhow, he says, what are you going to do? I said, I am going to play golf. You're going to what? You're going to chase that white little ball? Ha 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 ha, he said. So I'm not going to recommend you, he says. You don't need to recommend me, I says. I'm going to go play on a sport where if I'm good, I can make the lineup, I'll be able to play. There's no favorites there, I says. It's your game that gets you in. I'm sure that a few years later, he heard about me. So anyhow, that's how I got into golf. From there, my career in high school was a good one. I also found out that when I was making my collage, that I was the captain of the golf team, which I had forgotten that I was. So you can see where my mind was at the time. My priorities were a little upside down at the time. When I was getting ready to graduate, I had a coach from Houston College come over, and he wanted to make me, you know, be one of his players. And I said no. And then there was another guy, the wrestler. He wanted to take me on the tour, and I said no. And one of the recruiters said, well, why come you're in a hurry? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I said, well, I want to leave right now. I said, because I got my car parked over there, and I see my buddies, and we got some beer in there, and they're all drinking it. So you can see where my priorities were at the time. So anyhow, I want to go back now to, I played in a memorial tournament yesterday, Bob Brubaker, in Rio Rico, close to, no, Keno Springs, I'm sorry, close to Nogales there. And I really didn't want to play in it. It's kind of expensive, but my friend calls me up and he says, I want you and Tommy to play in this tournament. He says, I want you to meet Tommy. Oh, I says, I met Tommy about 2 or 3 months ago. I said, we played in a benefit at the Willow Golf Course there at Casino, and he heard about me, and he came over and talked to me, and we talked about sobriety. He says, I got 8 years, he says, that I stopped. I says, I got 36 going on 37, I says. And he says, I'm playing real good golf now. Well, it just so happened that we did get together, and Ruben Madero was our sponsor, he took us down there. And with going down there, we talked about the golf game and how he plays and all that. Anyhow, when we started to play, this guy hits the ball 300 and some yards. I said, wow, this guy's good. So anyhow, on the second hole, I got up there, well, I'm going to show you my stuff, you know, real cocky. 272-yard hole. And I get up there, and I just swing as hard as I could. I hit the ball right over the trees and all that. Everybody saying, good shot, good shot. So we got in the carts, and we make the turn to go down to the hole. And here's a ball that's about 8 feet from the hole. And the guy says, that's your ball. No, that can't be mine. It sure was. And I've been playing so bad here for the last 3 months because of my cancer, I guess, and not hitting the ball well. I figured, well, I'm going to see if I can make the putt. And I asked the guys, because we all putt as we go along, and I asked them, I said, let me putt that one. I want to see. So I made that putt, and I'm going, wow. And for some reason, I just felt that adrenaline come on, and I felt so good about it. And we went on to play, and we won the tournament. We shot 16 under, 56. So anyhow, at this tournament, I met a lot of old friends that I have not seen in a long time, 30, 40 years ago. And the reason that I felt so good there is because when I was putting the collage together, I was a little perturbed that I had to do it. And the reason was because all of this stuff I had in my workroom. In my work room, they call it the golf room or the litter room or whatever. You couldn't. So I had to go in there and clean it out to find all the clippings and everything. And as I'm doing this, I'm reading some of the stuff and all this. Wow, this brings a lot of memories. And I started to read some of it. Some of it I had forgotten. And anyhow, I felt real good afterwards because it really put me to remember where I've been and what I had done. So now every day that I wake up in the mornings, okay, and here I am, I'm going to go play golf now again. And I get to play about three times out of the week, sometimes 4. I get tired doing it, but I figure as long as I'm able to walk and swing, I'm going to do it. So getting back now to getting tired, the cancer is my doctor calls it, it's dormant. It's not in remission, is what I thought. He says, your cancer is there, it's just waiting to grow, and it doesn't grow. Okay, that's good. My wife is my dietitian, she's my nurse, she's my doctor, she's my financial advisor too, by the way. She also coaches me once in a while. She even tells me how to drive at times. I want you to see my wife over here. Stand up, Pima. My wife for 54 years. So anyhow, I'd like to end it at this time. I want to thank the Pima County Hall of Fame, the committee, for electing me to be a member of the Hall of Fame. It's an honor, and it brought a lot of memories, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.